live streamed from Zoom. So I'm hoping we've got a few of you with us. And I'm just gonna finish sharing. I'm gonna stop this screen share. And ladies, we've got some of our panelists with us. So if ladies, you wanna put your cameras on and come off of mute. Now, Facebook have done what Facebook do, and it looks like they've done a bit of an update, which means the share button was no longer there. And I had to copy the link. I don't know if it was the same for you guys, but I think we're kind of there. I'm just going to share it on the business profile, and then we'll jump straight in. I can't see at the minute who's viewing. And if you're watching on replay, then please put hashtag replay. And there is a reason for that. So, ladies, does the sound okay? Are we all good?
Yeah.
Sound is all good.
Yeah.
Fab. I am just checking that Facebook and Zoom have done what they're meant to do. Because it's my birthday and I'm anxious because it's the first time I've ever done anything like this in my life.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, exactly.
Thank you.
Yes, happy birthday.
So, yeah, so I know a few of you, our panelists are trying to share this to their business pages as well. So, ladies, I had to click the three dots and then go to tech glitches. I've had non-stop tech glitches for about a month now. It's getting really, really annoying. So I had to click copy link, and then you just go onto your pages and paste a link in, and then the live comes up on your business pages and wherever you've put the link in. So it looks like a little update on Facebook that I had no idea about at all.
So copy the Zoom link, you mean?
Copy. So I can see Amy on the screen now. It's all right. I've got 3 devices set up to do this, so it's quite funny. On my profile where we're streaming to, if you click the 3 dots, there's copy link, and that's the link that you need to copy and then share. And anybody who's viewing who wants to share this to their feeds, you're more than welcome to. We've never done anything like this before, and I don't think I've ever seen anything being done like this before. So it's new. The plan was we was gonna answer questions from the comments, but I think we'll go in after the show and answer those questions, if that makes sense, because I think we're biting off more than we can chew if we try and do it now. So the reason my camera is off right now is because the ladies set me a challenge on the identity episode. Now, Taylor, you were on that one. I can't remember. Was you on that one as well, Leah?
No, I wasn't.
No.
No.
So our lovely Larissa, bless her heart, advised me to get a style consultant. I think it was an image consultant. And we're talking about the fact that my confidence is impacted by my clothing and how I look and different bits and pieces. So, Taylor, if you refresh my profile, it should come up.
Okay.
So essentially, I turned around and said about a neon orange jacket that I brought. I didn't have confidence to wear. And then I realized for a neon party, I'd actually brought a top that was, I didn't realize at the time, it was the exact brand colors, almost, yeah, pretty much the exact brand colors for Biz Real Talk. So, and then Larissa today, coincidentally, did a post, did a reel and a live, I think it was, about dressing for success. So I think she'll be impressed with this. She may be joining us a little bit later, so it'd be interesting to see her reaction. So I want to see your reactions. This could go horribly wrong because it could look absolutely awful on camera. Okay, I'm just going to go for it.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh,
Stunning.
wow. Oh, wow.
So
You're like a
I've glammed
flower.
up. I've glammed up. I've dressed for success. I feel really overdressed in the caravan though. I've got to be honest.
You look like a flower.
You look incredible.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you
So
do.
I wanted to see your reactions live. Do you know what I mean? So
Stunning.
I've been impressed.
You look amazing, and it's your birthday. Oh, you really
Wow.
look lovely. You really do.
Thank you. So for everyone joining us, Biz Real Talk, there's lots of different reasons I decided to do Biz Real Talk. First, it was inspired by one of my collab and Harry. We used to have really open conversations and proper real conversations on my masterclasses and things that I ran. And I did some little short reels on Instagram, which said Biz Real Talk. And I was like, I'll make a really cool podcast and never had the confidence to do it. And then obviously throughout the podcast, you'll learn bits of my journey from the last year. And it was like, sod it, 4 weeks ago. I was like, sod it, we're doing it. And I reached out to the connections I had and put a few posts up. And we ended up with a panel of around 18 ladies. And we are going to open the panel up for more panelists as we move forward because we want to inspire and empower as many women as possible. But before we get in, we're actually going to do an episode for you today. And there's a few twists though, because I'm not going to be hosting. We're going to choose one of our panelists to host, and they don't know who it is that's going to get chosen just yet. So this could be really funny. And as per, now I'm on here, the dog's sitting there laying there snoring. I hope you can't hear that. But before we get into it, ladies, I just want to know from your point of view, we've had a really heavy recording schedule over the last 4 weeks. What's your experience been of the show, and what do you think viewers are going to get from watching it?
I think they're going to get just so much insight because we've all got such personal views and feelings. And I mean, we all have slightly different takes on everything as well. So I think there's a really nice mix of different thought processes behind all the different topics that we've discussed. And actually, it's been really enlightening for me as well as one of the panelists, just listening to other people and their thoughts and feelings around things as well. And just knowing that actually running a business isn't the easiest thing, and having a supportive network of people around you is one of the most important things.
Right, I'm not ignoring you. We've got people who are trying to watch us saying that link that was shared isn't working. But on my devices, it's come up with, when I put the link in, it's come up with the actual video there. So I'm just going to tell them just to click on, because I've made it public anyway. I'm just telling them to click onto my actual profile so that you can see. Because I've had about 4 messages in the time you were speaking. 4 comments. So this though is real biz. This is what happens. We learn and we grow. Like I said, I've never done anything like this before. Never done a podcast before. The closest I ever got to that was doing obviously media interviews, being interviewed, and it's kind of role reversal, isn't it? Because I've been interviewing you ladies and having conversations with you guys. So my dog is really loud. I'm going to try not to get distracted by the dog. Can you hear the dog snoring?
No, not
Right.
at all.
Few, because that again is like, to me, it's like really unprofessional, but again, it's real.
It's real life.
It's real life.
Exactly.
It is definitely real life. I'm
Just while you're
make-
sorting that out, I just want to agree with everything Amy said. So yeah, I feel like, and I just said I've just met you ladies tonight, so that I've already met so many different people from different backgrounds and had different experiences, and it's been so interesting because, as you grow in business, I find it's really hard to break out into new groups of people. And I don't know if that's just me. or maybe the groups that I've signed up to or whatever. So I found this actually incredible because everyone is so different and from completely different perspectives. It's been really, and like Amy said, I feel like I've learned so much as well. Like, not only are we just sharing our experiences, but also giving practical tips that, that you could find useful in life, in business, relationships. It's such a vast, wealth of knowledge that you've got here. So it's been a really incredible experience. So yeah, I agree with everything Amy said. I think it's just been, I've enjoyed it a lot.
Excellent. And if I'm to throw my two bob worth in, I think anybody watching this is going to say, oh, thank God it's not just me. When I hit these bumps and I hit these roadblocks and I hit the highs, which are brilliant, and then I crash down, thank God it's not just me, because all of these other women who are, and I think you could say we're putting ourselves in a vulnerable position, showing it, spots and all. This is what it looks like. And there are massive highs and massive lows. And sometimes the lows make you feel, I'm gone. Thank you very much. I'm looking for somebody to employ me. But then you're like, actually, no, if you are an entrepreneur internally, it's an itch that you will forever scratch unless you go with it. And I think once you know that there's going to be the ups and the downs and the uncertainty, and sometimes you won't find your home in certain places. Whereas I mean, Sarah, you've created a wonderful home here for everybody, and even on the group, the chat, it's great, it's brilliant, and that's what you need in business. You need somebody else with you, even if they're not in your day-to-day business. You just need somebody who's on the journey with you and who understands that it can be exceptionally intense, but it can be brilliant as well. So that's my two bob worth.
And I completely agree with that. And also, just to add to that, sorry, it also doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur or even if you have a team, because what I found, even the CEOs and the leaders of teams, they don't always necessarily want to be completely raw and vulnerable with their team, right? Because they're supposed to be the ones leading and they're supposed to have it all together or whatever. So this is a really great space where people can come and really feel like, oh my gosh, yes, I really resonate with that, and can just be completely open without worrying about if you've got that leadership hat on or if it's going to impact any of the team. So yeah, I completely agree with what you said, Leah.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. I'm just a little bit concerned at the minute that I can see the show literally on everything, like on my profile and everywhere, and everyone is saying to me,
can I just
that
share what the message says? So for me, it says, this usually happens because the owners only shared it with a small group of people, changed who can see it, or it's been deleted. So maybe it's open, but maybe it's not open to everyone.
okay, how
I
can
can't find it on your profile.
Amy, you've streamed before, you've live streamed before
To
to your
a
profile,
group.
to a group, and right. So how do I change the settings that everybody can see? So there are people that are wanting to come on and see it.
On a group, it's different. I have stream keys and things that I have to put on. And because the group's private, I think it just goes straight out to the group. I've not done it to my profile, so that's not, I don't know if it's different.
Right. I'm just seeing if there's like a privacy thing.
Yeah, because I can see the link on your profile, but I can't, like, this is the message. It's like a little lock screen.
Well, okay. So everyone's basically just missed that part until they see it on YouTube. Where is it? So I don't understand why it should just stream. Let me check on here and see if it's something to do with the settings here. There we are. It's the settings on here. Okay.
Ah, there you are, you're live.
Right, okay. So all of that we've got on recording, but we haven't done it live. So because it wasn't showing it. So anybody who missed the first 20 minutes, you should be able to watch it on the replay hopefully. And if you can't watch it on the replay, then it will definitely be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow. I mean, it's called Biz Real Talk, right? These are all authentic things. I am literally just going to let everyone know to try again.
I
So,
love it. I love it.
has everyone missed that first bit? It's going to be a repeat for anyone watching on YouTube. But
Another technical issue.
Do you know, I always say to my students at the start of a day, this is real life. And if my computer explodes in front of me and I can't continue, that's fine. I'm not going to be sitting here panicking, and I don't want anybody else to panic either. It's real life. There's nothing we can do.
I
So
did say anything could go wrong.
there you go.
Anything could happen.
This is going to be a really
Any-
funny story that you can tell, that you can share to everyone. It's good. It's good. I love it.
I can
Oh,
actually
God.
see comments and hearts and stuff coming through now, and people getting my daughters put woohoo. So that means I can, because I've got the phone on site, I can try and keep track, at least on my profile, of the comments that are coming through. Okay. Happy days. Right. Hopefully it'll start notifying people now that we're live, right? So you missed the big reveal. I got challenged by Larissa to basically stop wearing, I'd say, neutral dark colours and get a star image consultant. But I'd bought this top before we'd ever done the branding for the show, and I completely forgot about the colours on it. And it just turns out that, it fits with our branding colours. So if Larissa turns up later, I think she'll have a bit of shock. So that's why I'm dressed like this, which nobody ever sees me in this. Only one of my really close friends has seen me in this for a neon party a few weeks ago. And I'm not hosting the show tonight. I'm going to pick one of our panelists to host. They don't know who it's going to be, so I'm going to be surprising them with that. We don't usually, when we're recording, have panelists come in halfway through the show, but that may happen tonight because the format has gone out the window and we're shaking things up. So this gives you a real insight into how we film the podcast, the kind of conversations we have. We don't edit very much anyway. We just realistically put the intro and the outro there, and the start and end screens. That's about it. And what you see is real. And the reason we started this was to have other businesswomen know that they are supported. They've got a tribe, they've got a sisterhood of women who have been in business a very long time, at all different stages of their success, have been successful and lost it all and rebuilt. And it's about the real and the messy, and not the BS that you see in the highlights on social media, so that you actually feel seen, feel heard, and don't feel like you're failing, because you're not. So that's essentially, it's to empower women, and when one of us rise, we will rise, and we've proven that throughout the last 4 weeks, I think, with recording. Hey ladies.
Yeah.
And it's about community. You'll see the more in-depth convo around that the ladies did before we had before it actually started streaming. So there's one or two bits I just want to touch on quickly before I announce who the host is. Okay, so I've got a few treats. Obviously, we have started the Biz Real Talk community as well, so you've got a place where you can have conversation between yourselves, ask questions. We'll put polls in there, so you'll have a say over the episodes that we record moving forward, as well as conversations around the ones that have been made live on YouTube. If you haven't yet, go subscribe. Seriously, you're not going to want to miss out some of these conversations. Even I've been shocked by some of the replies I've got from panelists, put it that way. It's difficult to shock me. It's very real. It's very real, and it's very raw. And there's it's not edited out either. So but for everybody watching this between now and Monday at midnight Monday, I've got a few gifts to give away. I've got a few prizes. So our lovely Helena, everyone who joins our Biz Real Talk community will get access to money mindset style hypnosis meditation. You'll have access to that for free. And then I've got some prizes that I want to give away, as I always do this on my birthday. With any business I've got, I always do it. And everyone knows here that my number for this year is number 3. So I've got 3 prizes to give away. And one of them is a one-to-one coaching session, 90-minute one-to-one coaching session. One is a lifetime access to our Unstoppable Mums and Mums in Business membership. And the other one is free entry into the Becoming Bold and Brave bootcamp. And that framework is exactly how I got here now. Doing the scary things, even though I don't want to get flagged, so I'm not going to swear. But I'm absolutely crap it, because this is so out of my comfort zone. And if you just told me 12 months I'd be doing this, I'd have told you chatting, you know what. So everything you do, subscribing to YouTube, joining the community, every comment that is in that feed is going to be counted up, every share. And the one that has put out most engagement is going to get that 90-minute one-to-one session. The next one will get, obviously, the year's membership. And the third most engaged will get the Becoming Bold and Brave bootcamp, which runs next month. So get commenting, get liking, get sharing.
Yeah, really good prizes.
And I'm just going to check the comments quickly. And okay, everyone's saying got you. Everyone's saying hey. Hey, Leon. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. This is Sarah's. Hi, Sadie, Charlotte, Joe. Right, and we're going to jump straight in. So the topic, sorry, it's going to be a bit juicy, because the topic is around letting go of the good girl complex. And anybody watching this knows that the good girl complex is very real for me. I was a rebel when I was a teenager, and then I went back to being a very silent good girl. And what we mean by that is the people pleasing, the lack of boundaries, everything that strips away our power and our voice, and being able to let go of that and then step into our power to do what we truly want to do in life. So I'm not hosting, I'm not answering the questions. I hope you ladies have got some notes, and you might want to do a drum roll, because I'm now about to announce who's going to host the show for the night. And I'm going to take someone out of their comfort. It's going to be the person that doesn't usually do anything like this podcast, really. Well, they should just speak on stage now and again, from what I hear. Taylor.
Oh.
Thank God it's not me.
I
Yay! Thank you. Okay, so tonight's topic, good girl detox, bye-bye people pleasing, and hello power. So I think I'd quite like to start with the people pleasing element. And I'm not sure who might want to go first, but I guess what I'm most curious about is, have you experienced this before? And if you have, how did it show up? What did it look like? Whether it be you yourself, or you know someone, a friend, or a partner. I'm not sure if anyone wants to answer first.
I'm a chronic people pleaser. I've been
Really?
my whole life.
Really?
Yeah, for me, I think it shows up in not wanting to let people down,
Mm-hmm.
wanting people to like me.
Mm-hmm.
Just, yeah, that was always that's just always how I've been, and I don't know where that's come from. It's just I want everyone to love me. I want everyone to be my friend. I don't want anyone to feel sad if I say no. So yeah, it has been something that has been as part of me for a very long time. Where it's come from, I have no idea.
Wow. And how do you feel like, obviously there's good, I don't want to say good and bad because that's the wrong word, but it can change situations and things for you either positively or negatively. Have you had any kind of good experiences or maybe some tough challenges as a result of this?
I'd say definitely with boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
like having a lack of boundary. I think, yeah, when you're wanting to do stuff for everyone because you want everyone to like you and you want everyone to be your friend,
Mm.
you do lose that sense of like having the boundaries because you just want to do everything for everybody.
Mm.
I've definitely learned to rein it in,
Mm-hmm.
have a bit more confidence in myself and who I am as a person, and more confidence to say, well, if you don't like me, that's not a me problem, that's a you problem.
Mm.
So just kind of getting more into my power of who I am. But I have to say that's only recently been maybe the last couple of years. And it was
Mm.
only because it was pointed out to me that that's just in my nature, it's who I am. But I don't know whether it's because I am just generally a very positive person. I've just got that very positive outlook of life, and I just want everyone to have that same viewpoint that I've got, because just everything is just wonderful. Which just sounds really cheesy, but I'm a very positive person, and I feel like by saying yes to people, or at least when I used to say yes to people, I was making their lives more positive as well.
Mm. See, that is lovely because I think having a positive outlook on life, and especially, you only have to turn on the news and everything is so doom and gloom all the time. So the fact that you keep that at the forefront, day to day, I think is actually a really lovely thing. But the fact that you've managed to set some boundaries is also really good, like because you don't want to wear yourself too thin. And I think it's actually a really common thing. I know I'm definitely someone that's people pleased a lot more so in my past. But what about you, Leah? Have you experienced it at all, whether it's been you or someone else, and how's it
Oh,
shown up?
definitely. And I'm delighted to say that as I age, I'm graduating out of people pleasing, which is liberating. And I was saying on one of the recordings before that I grew up, and I remember I suppose, look, I suppose I come from a community. I'm Irish, you can probably hear from my voice, and it was always um, there was a huge religious background to the culture, we'll say, and it was always a case of saying, yes to the priest, yes to the doctor. That was kind of I think that was probably cultural for all of us. Um, but I remember years and years and years ago at a school disco, a school dance, and I was saying this on one of the chats, and I remember before going. I was only a teenager, and my mum saying to me, now if a boy asks you to dance, you have to say yes. There would be no question mark or no question about saying no. You have to say yes because you might embarrass him in front of his friends. So this is kind of the thing that generation would have been saying to my generation, would say. And I know my friends were the same. And you'd end up dancing with these guys that you wouldn't want anywhere near you, but you couldn't say no, which is absolutely awful. Um,
Mm.
and I credit my husband actually with a lot of helping me step out of a lot of those kind of, I suppose, hang-ons, those kind of attitudes um, that come from other generations, that we can carry it forward. And I remember thinking to myself when I had my daughters, that's a cycle that's going to be broken. They're not going to become, people pleasers. And yes, yes, of course, yes sir, no sir, because I don't want to get into some sort of perceived trouble, or I want people to like me. And as you age, or as I've aged anyway, I really feel that's all going. The shackles are thrown off. And one thing that really annoys me is, that awful saying, calling women a Karen. Um, we've all heard it. Oh, she's such a Karen. I'm like, she's actually not. She's standing up for herself. She's speaking, and because of it, she's being insulted. So people pleasing can be really, really, it could be toxic. Um, it can be very natural. So I suppose we should never beat ourselves up by saying, God, I'm a bit of a people pleaser. Because I think by nature humans want to be good and they want to be kind, and they don't want to maybe upset or hurt another human being. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the world was always like that? But it can come to the stage that you feel you can't say no. And one of the most liberating words is the word no. And it can be said exceptionally nicely if you still want to, stay within, I don't want anybody to hate me zone, which we all do. You can say it nicely, but you can stand up for yourself by saying no. Yeah, so that, and if I was to see it in my daughters, I'd like, no, you don't need to please anybody. Once you're good and kind, and once you're doing the things that are right, that's your radar, that's your northern star. But you don't need to people please and say yes to keep others comfortable. So that's my take on it. Aren't I on a right rant now? Straight away, Sarah. That always happens.
No, I love it. It's interesting hearing your point of view. And there'll be so many people that will be like, oh yeah, I've experienced that as well. And it's crazy when you look, I say crazy, when you look back and the fact that you were told you can't say no.
That's right, yeah. Because the poor fella.
What about me?
When you think about it, what about me? That's yeah.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Sarah, I don't know if you, sounds like you had, your intro. Sounds like you've got maybe an interesting story or two. Do you want to share?
Okay, I'm just going to go to the comments quickly first,
Oh,
though.
yeah, sure, yeah.
So we've got someone asking, so is it saying yes or is it saying no? And I personally think it's both. I think people pleasing is like, how do I put this? I was constantly saying yes to things that depleted me and no to the things I wanted. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I would turn down things that I really wanted to do to be able to help others because I felt it was selfish if I didn't, and I'd be letting them down. But I didn't consider myself first. And bit by bit, I became more and more disempowered. It was when I started putting them boundaries in place and stopped caring if I was being selfish and did what felt right to me. So I said no more, that it then took back my power. And I don't know, they're probably going to watch this, and that's fine because they know I always speak the truth even to them. One of the things I said when I left the old business originally was I said I didn't want to let you down to my investor and on the past. I didn't want to let you down. I needed to leave a long time before I did, at least a year before I did. My health was on the floor to a point where I seriously thought that the prediction my excuse me, the prediction my doctors had made when I was 16 was starting to come true, and that I was going to be in a wheelchair and lose my mobility. And they were still pushing at people pleasing and being afraid to let people down. And people pleasing can just make you really ill. That good girl complex that I need to make sure I'm not seen as selfish, I'm not seen as inconsiderate, I'm not seen as too loud, I'm not seen as this, I'm not seen as that. It kills your identity. It can make you ill. You become a shell of yourself. And it doesn't serve you any purpose. That's what I've learned anyway in the last year, since I've started putting boundaries in place and taking my power back. What are your thoughts, Taylor?
No, that's amazing. And so many things you're saying. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. Because for me, my experience, I definitely was a good girl all through school, all of that. And I was in a situation growing up where my mum was incredible. My dad is an incredible person, but wasn't present. And my mum had other children to look after. So I almost thought, I guess looking back now as an adult, I think I thought, oh, if I'm just really good, like people will want to, I'll get some attention, or someone will, think that I'm important, right? Because I didn't feel like I was getting that sense of I wasn't important in my eyes to my dad, unfortunately, and to my mum. She was crazy busy, had other kids, and she was superhero, but I think I was missing something in that era. And so as I got older, I was saying yes to everyone and making sure everyone else was happy and that I was the good girl and I was a pleasure to be around. For me, unfortunately, it then took a turn as in my adulthood when I got into relationships, which is a whole other topic. But, you know, I got to a point where I got out of that situation, and I guess I think what's important now, I think if people are feeling like that, what can people actually do to get out of that cycle if they think that they might be in that people pleasing zone? So I think you guys have shared a little bit, but if you've got any really like, oh, this really worked for me, try this. And, you know, if people are really looking for something practical that they can maybe do. I'm not sure if anyone's got any tips that they
I think it can be tricky, and it can be quite painful actually, can't it?
Mm.
And I think maybe start with something maybe small, if that feels comfortable, and just test how it feels. You know, if you feel that if it feels safe internally to say, you know what, I can't, or look, I'll actually pass on that, but thank you very much, or whatever it is. Maybe start small and just sit and see how did that feel. You know, that might, yeah, that actually felt quite good. I think I'll repeat it, you know, and then becoming aware of the next, you know, we were talking again, we seem to have had so many chats the last few weeks, and you know something, when you listen to that instinct inside, do I want to say no to this? I actually do. I'm going to just try and say no and just pull out. I used to say as well long ago, I'm going to pull out the bravery. You know, I'm going to find that brave part, a brave spurt. That's all it'll take, half a second, pull out the brave spurt and say no. If you want to say no, just, you know, no, and see how that feels. And you know what? It can it can feel quite normal after a while. And as I say, liberating. So I think that's what I would say. Start small where you feel safe. If it's something that's completely alien to you, if you're like, I don't think I could ever not be in that role of people pleasing. And I think, Taylor, you put the nail on the head completely when you said, I just, you know, I want to feel as if, you know, I'll do everything well and I'll be the good girl so that, you know, I'll be welcomed into the situation, or so that I'll be, you know, I'll show my worth type of thing. And that's that can be a huge identity piece, I think, for all of us. So it is brave stepping outside it, even just to test what it feels like.
Yeah, I agree. Just starting with something small, because I feel when you're saying yes to absolutely everything, as Sarah said, you know, it can break you down. It almost like takes little chinks out of you. And if that's constantly happening, then you're just going to get smaller and smaller. You're just going to lose your essence of who you are. And as Sarah said, it's going to make you poorly and ill, but you also want to kind of say yes to the things that align with you and no to the things that don't align with you, which, you know, Leah said, you know, how does it feel if you are asked to do something and deep down inside you're going, oh, I really don't want to? Then don't. Okay, you don't owe anyone an explanation. If it doesn't feel right, if you don't want to do it, just say no thank you. You know, make up an excuse. Sorry, I'm already busy that evening. Sorry, washing my hair.
Definitely
Great one. I use it all the time.
I've definitely used that before.
I think we've all used things. Like, I think this is the thing though, right? We've all used little fibs to get out of doing things that we don't want to do. But what if you could actually, without fib? Does that make sense?
Yeah, just saying no for the sake of saying no, rather than giving a false excuse or a
I
false
think you
reason.
really step up, you know, when you're in your power, when you can say no without giving an explanation. When you can say, no, it's not right for me right now. Or no, I haven't got the time. And when they try and keep going at you like, oh, but I really need your help, no one else can help me. Look, I've said no, I can't do it. You'll have to find somebody else. I think that is really taking your power back. That's when you know you stepped into your power more. And we're all going to fall back into those people pleasing behaviours and lowering our boundaries now and again. because that's normal, we're human. But I think for me, taking back my power and stopping the people pleasing came with knowing my identity, exploring my identity. That's one thing Andrea got me to do very early on. She's like, it's an identity piece of you, Sarah. It's an identity piece of you. And I resisted it for so long. Had I not resisted it for so long, I probably could have been doing this before Christmas last year. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. Wow.
But a lot of
sometimes
things happen at specific points, you know. This is happening now for a reason. The reason it didn't happen before Christmas is because you weren't in the right mindset to address it and work on it and work out the reason behind it. Yes, you know, hindsight's a great thing, going, oh, if I'd only done this, you know, last year, then imagine how far along I'd be in business. Like, we can't live our lives on what ifs. You know, we've got to live our lives in the present. It didn't happen in the past because you weren't ready for it. Whereas now you've accepted it, you've stepped into your power, and you're ready to take on the world. So I think we need to stop apologizing and stop, you know, wondering what could be if
that's the other
only
thing with
I'd
people
done this
pleasing,
already.
isn't it? That's the other thing with people pleasing, though, it was constantly apologizing. And like Taylor, it did spill over into relationships, and it was a relationship, really unhealthy relationship last year that really triggered me working on it, because that relationship broke me. It was the first one following the separation from my husband. Too close, too quick, and it all fell apart. And it showed me every single shadow side of me, every single shadow side of them, and all of the things I was doing that I needed to take accountability for that I didn't realize I was doing. And it mirrored both in relationships with my kids, with my family, with my friends, my relationships, and in my business. And that's what I mean by the identity stuff. As soon as we started working on my core values, my identity, putting up boundaries and keeping those boundaries, not dropping them, that's when the people pleasing was less. That is when the saying yes to things I wanted to do became more. And bit by bit, me being able to take my power back and step into my power. And I see that as well. Actually, one of my clients is watching this now. And I see her stepping into her power and people pleasing less and being able to make decisions that are right for her, even when other people are telling her not to, because they're wanting to keep her safe. But it makes me so proud seeing her being able to stand in her power and say, actually, no, this is what I need and I want to do for me and for me and my family. It has so much power in itself being able to say no.
That's amazing. And it's just that simple word. It sounds so simple, but can feel so hard when you're first starting to do it. You know, what Leah, you said earlier that, you know, it can be really hard. So if you're finding yourself in a situation where you think you might be people pleasing, that little, just try something small and try to repeat, I think is really, really good advice as well, because sometimes it can feel like, you know, all past traumas, etc., are coming as a result of, you know, thinking about saying no, and you think, oh no, I can't go back into that, or I can't, you know, it's start with something small. That might be a really good way to try and help stepping into that power. And I think now we're talking about power, and this is like the right, how do we get more of it? I think you guys have touched on some really, really good points. And from what I'm gauging from you know, a couple of you, is that actually mindset is probably, if not the most important, one of the most important parts. Do you have any tips on where to start, maybe? You know, is it something that maybe people need to take some private time and think about? Is it something that people should, you know, maybe there's a book or something that you've read that is incredible, or you've seen something? Have you got any tips that people could use to try and get more of their power or step into that power?
I think, do you know what I think is one of the most powerful things is to do some self-reflection. Get yourself a pen. I also have a pen in my hand, and get yourself a notebook and do some journaling. And you know what? Ask yourself some questions. Am I a people pleaser? Why? And go as deep as you can. You might come to an answer, well, I think I'm a people pleaser because of ABC. Yeah, but what is it about ABC that makes you that puts you in that position or that situation? Unpeel that onion in the privacy of your own mind with just you reading your journal. You know, free association. Be as free as you can be with yourself and answer, dig, you know, challenge yourself. Why am I always saying yes when I want to say no? What might it feel like to say no? If I started saying no on the times I want to, you know, what can that do for me? Where could that bring me? What could that show me about myself? How tricky on a scale of 1 to 10, or how difficult on a scale of 1 to 10 might I find it to, you know, to say no? I'm at a 10. I'm going to find it impossible. What would it take to bring me down to 9? You know, to bring me one step closer to, I feel absolutely fine saying no. You know, maybe it would take a deep breath. Maybe it would take, as I say, you know, saying no to somebody that you really, really trust. So that's what I do. I would just sit with myself and I would think and I would ask myself questions and I would try and expose, where does this come from? And then I'd say, okay, what might it look like in the opposite scenario? So if I did have the freedom to say no, what could it look like? What would that bring me? Would it bring me peace of mind? Would it bring me the ability to say yes to the other things that Sarah had been saying no to? You know, what might evolve for me if I can start saying no? But I'll start by being really, you know, honest with myself, and you know, and actually saying, being honest with myself, even that to me sounds a bit negative, you know, because that makes me feel I'm being guilty about being not honest. I think it is a mindset thing that we have to, you know, we have to just see ourselves as humans and stop blaming ourselves for anything and say, right, okay, do I want to do things differently? And if I do, brilliant. I wonder where I can start. That's what I think. Something gentle again.
That's incredible. And actually, when you were just talking there, it reminded me of something that I did, which I think almost kind of led me down this journey that I'm on now. I can't remember I was watching one of the gurus. I can't remember who it was. And one of the tasks was really thinking about what you want in life. Like what do you actually want in life, and why is it why, basically. It was a really simple exercise. So you had to write down what you think you wanted. Well, we discovered that at the end. What is it exactly you want? You write it down, and then you say, okay, so why is that important to you? So you write that down, and then you say, okay, but why? Why is that important? Why is that important? And I think it was 7 times you had to ask the question why. And it really made me really think about, and it was almost similar to you, Leah, like, you know, you want to be honest with yourself. It's not for me. It was almost like I had just parked it to the side. It was in there somewhere, but I just didn't acknowledge it for some reason. I'm not quite sure. It wasn't on purpose, but it wasn't until I was forced to write down 7 times, okay, but why? Okay, but why? And I really kind of started getting to what is it I actually wanted and why was it important to me. That in itself for me was a really good step in a direction that made me feel empowered. Like it's within I know exactly what it is, you know, that clarity piece. And then once I know what it is I actually want, I can then put something in place to get there, if that makes sense. So yeah, you saying that just really reminded me of that. And so maybe if that helps someone else, I hope it does. But does anyone else have anything?
I think, yeah, so for me, being a mum, like it's not often that we really have to think about what it is that we want, because we're so focused on our kids and making sure they get what they want and that they're seen to, they're happy. I think switching it around and actually asking yourself, what is it that I actually want? Like that's a big deal for some people, because they might not have even thought that having something for them is even possible. So yeah, definitely asking yourself what you want, and the power of the 7 whys. Oh my goodness, yes.
Oh, so you've heard that
Yeah,
before.
I've heard
I
of
knew
it.
it was one
Yeah.
of the gurus. I couldn't remember which one, but
I
yeah.
can't remember who it was either, but I've definitely heard of it. But another thing, and again, going back to my positivity roots, because that's just how I am, I think being kind to yourself. Like, I have so many people that say so many horrible things about themselves, and that makes me really sad, because I want to ask them sometimes, I'm like, would you say that to a child? If you wouldn't say that to a child, why would you say that to yourself? So being kind to yourself, allowing yourself the time to process what you've been asked. If you've been asked to do something, if it doesn't sit right with you, if it doesn't align with you, you need to be kind to yourself. Saying yes isn't being kind to yourself if it's not something that you want to do. So yeah, being kind to yourself, asking yourself what you want, being really honest, and just, yeah, positive affirmations. Like, I say positive things to myself all the time. I'll be driving along in the car if I'm going to go on the school run to pick them up. I'm like, I am a positive person. I am a kind person. I am a fully booked out coach. I have this, I have that. I'm going to take over the world. You know, like, I have like this very broad vision of positive power that I just want to share with everybody. And I think as soon as you kind of own that, then so many things will open up to you, and all of the things that you actually want to do will start coming into your vision and into your life.
Oh, amazing. That's lovely. Thanks for sharing that. And Sarah, have you got any comments?
I always love Amy's positivity. She knows that. But like I do obviously a combination of like what you all do. So I think that observation of yourself without the judgment is really powerful. And that comes within the journaling. And then I kind of take it one step further and give myself like action steps of how I can start kind of working on those things. That's how I tend to journal. So there's action points, basically self-coaching. And then so every day for half an hour I do I am affirmations. Found one on YouTube which is really good and really powerful. And I'll do that while I'm folding, washing, or washing up. Literally, I just make sure I do at least half an hour. That works really, really well for your mindset. Things like, so obviously the people pleasing and taking back your power, boundaries is the main thing. But if you're not confident in putting those boundaries in place and you're struggling to put those boundaries in place, these are things I used to kind of keep that mindset and that mental strength to be able to do it. So it's the I am affirmations. We all know I have a self-image and self-confidence issue. So I will look in the mirror. It's a tool given to me about a year ago. Look in the mirror, and it started with 3 things. Actually started with 1 thing that I liked about myself, and that was my eyes. Then I built it up to 3, then I built it up to 10. So anytime my confidence or my self-worth starts to dip and I notice it, it's straight and looking in front of the mirrors, even if I'm crying my eyes out and trying my hardest to pick out 10 things that I like about myself. And what was the other one? That. I'm trying to think now. My mind's gone blank.
Oh, I love that though. That's so nice. Like we should, and so we should, like we shouldn't find it so hard, like to say that. But like you saying that, I'm thinking, I wonder if I could point out that many things in the mirror and say that to myself, like things that I like about myself. And I don't know if, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So these simple things that anyone can do, and it's just, yeah, it's yeah.
The reframe. We always talk about reframe, don't we? And like the other reframe I use, and I used it with clients recently, was essentially the things all the negative thoughts I have about myself and all my limiting beliefs, where did they come from? Somebody else or me or both? Can I change them, and do I want to change them? And that one is actually quite empowering. So if it's something to do with my health or a skill gap, there's an action I can take, because that would be something I'd want to change. But actually, if it's something like, for example, I'll give an example. I was born with a broken nose. Yes, they could operate, but it was going to leave me with really bad scarring on my face. Probably not so much now, but I also know the complications that could come along with it. Do I want to risk those complications? No. Well, I've just got to get over it. No, I've got to be able to get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
that's really powerful, because even if there's something that you know that you can't do anything about, or you're choosing not to, just almost releasing that and saying, okay, that, and accepting it is what it is. That's, yeah, I can see how that's really, really powerful.
it might not feel like it's linked to the good girl thing and the people pleasing and the stepping into your power, but it is, because I used to find that when people used to make comments about my nose, I found that really disempowering for me. So it's taking my power back. Everything I do to do with mindset, every tool I use, every strategy I, implement, it's about taking my power back from the people that took it away from me. And obviously those that watch this podcast and go and subscribe and stuff, they will see more of my journey. Some people watching this now already know huge chunks of my journey. They've been there and witnessed it. But there was lots of my power taken away at every stage of my life. And it's taken the last year for me to start taking it back piece by piece. So if I can do it, I know anybody can do it. There's nothing. I was the good girl, the straight A student, the singer, the dancer, the yes sir, no sir, three bags, because it wasn't safe for me not to be. It wasn't physically, emotionally, or, it just wasn't safe in any context. And I lived 38 years of it. I refuse to do it anymore. So I know for a fact that anybody watching this, even if they think, oh, I couldn't do that. Yeah, you can. Because if I can do it, anybody can. The girl from, I'll get told off for saying this, but the girl from the cancer estate who was born to an addict schizophrenic mum, if she can go from that to running the businesses that I've ran and overcome the imposter syndrome, overcome the self-doubt, overcome the people pleasing, put boundaries in place, and actually start taking steps towards their dreams, anybody can bloody do it.
Absolutely.
That's with us, right?
Amen.
Sorry, I didn't mean to preach. I do my
No,
thing.
it is. No, it is.
No.
It's important. I love it.
I'm all goose pimples. I'm all goose pimples after hearing that, Sarah.
Literally,
Yeah.
I tingles. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're making me like, yes, you can. You can do it.
The thing is, you're used to seeing me like it's flipped tonight, so that's why I said put me in the hot seat. Do you know what I mean? Put the heat on me, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's usually me doing what you're doing, Taylor, asking the questions, sparking the conversation, and just giving my little two P's worth here and there, and my own experiences in between. But yeah, that's the whole point of me being in the hot seat tonight.
No, I love it. I feel like I'm getting more, because I know bits of your story, but the more I'm thinking, wow, I bet you've got like the whole thing. I bet is incredible.
I think Leah was there when I got told, and like what I keep telling, like Andrea turned around at Real Women's the first time I met Leah, and she's just like, I keep telling her she needs to write a book.
Yeah, you should.
And I kept being resistant and put it off. I am the rebel. I am like, I don't know.
That's a good title. That's a good title. I am the rebel. And
Well,
actually, where I'm from in Cork in Ireland, we're called the Rebel County. So I see you.
I love
there
that.
is an offer on the table at the minute. I just don't know if to take it. But we already decided a while back when I said I will do the book at some point. It's going to be called Unspoken to Unstoppable. Because it kind of
Amazing.
tells my journey up until a point of launching everything, and then Andrea reckons I could do about 5 after that. So
Fab.
Amazing.
like I
Amazing.
say, if I'm talking about all these things, I'm laughing, but actually, like I just said, that book opportunity is on the table. Is me weighing up whether it's right for me now, you know.
Mhm.
So I have done things and have opportunities that people that come from where I come from think they can't achieve, can't get. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
We need women, especially, and from everyday backgrounds. I mean, we've got people on our panel from all different backgrounds. We've got, obviously, Helena is like, she came from an entrepreneur, very well off dad, as she openly talks about that. You know, Larissa has a very nice lifestyle. We'll all come from different backgrounds. I think for me and you, Taylor, we come from very similar backgrounds in some respects. But you could do it.
Yes.
You could, but we need to empower each other. It's as simple as that.
That's why spaces like this are so important for women to, first of all, just know that you're not alone, and there's people that have gone through what you're going through or something similar. And, you know, if you're looking for support, please reach out. Please don't ever feel like you have to suffer in silence, or you feel like no one else will feel the same. Because the chances are there's probably someone that does feel the same. And I feel like you said, Sarah, we're stronger together, and spaces like this are amazing because people can know that you're not alone, and know that you can pull through and reach out. Don't keep it all inside.
Yeah, there's power in community.
Oh yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's why we've tagged on the community, right? So obviously I went backwards and forwards between, do I do another Facebook group? You know, a lot of people develop Facebook groups. And it's like, whatever I do, it's got to be quick. It's got to be set up quick. And actually, people still do engage and go to Facebook groups if they're powerful and meaningful. So it's like, it has to be done. So you've got the community there. You can find your tribe. I mean, as you can probably tell, like those that are watching, that aren't on my profile, like my normal profile friends list or anything, who don't know me that well. I'm a little bit ADHD. So I've learned to, in the last 6 months, to start embracing my weird and my quirks, and still learning, still insecure about it, but I'm getting there. And that's through having a tribe like what I have, my success sisters, you ladies, you know, the coaches that are in my membership that I work with, like, and the networking that I do, because you will find your tribe. But if you feel alone, take advantage of the community. That's what it's there for. It's so that you don't ever feel unsupported, and so that you can feel seen and heard.
Absolutely.
Are you wanting me to take back over now, are you, Taylor?
If you would like to.
Well done, Taylor.
So much pressure.
You did wonderful, Taylor.
You did. Bravo.
You did. You did so well. And obviously, we'd usually run the show we'd usually record for sort of between 50 minutes and 60 minutes, won't we? It's usually around 50 minutes to an hour. And we've just had it. It's like we keep getting people join right as we're kind of going into new things, but hopefully they'll watch it on replay, because I think there's lots of value in what we've talked about tonight. Obviously, the first 20 minutes, luckily we hadn't started the live episode. The first 20 minutes intro was missed off of the Facebook Live. But that will be in the YouTube recording. So I'm just going to recap on a few things before we kind of end everything and say goodbye. And we'll kind of end the live in the same way as we usually end the show, if that makes sense. It'll make sense to you, ladies. So obviously there is the community. So it's Biz Real Talk, and then they call semicolons, I don't know what they're called, and then community. Okay, so it's on my profile anyway. If you can't find it, you might already be in there. It's completely free. It will become a private community in a few days, and there's going to be a freebie in there for you, and all the details of prizes for the competition. If you haven't already, go subscribe over at YouTube so you don't miss an episode. This week, this is a bonus episode that's going out. So there's going to be this one and another one dropped tomorrow. There's already the first episode up there. Oh my God, that was clunky. And it's very cringe because I did the whole ghetto girl thing, which I didn't even know I was doing. Birmingham days, Aston days, great. Well, I should have had my braids in, you know, it would have made more sense then, wouldn't it? Um, I love the way Taylor's laughing.
Sorry.
There's a black girl attitude coming out of me. And I'm not saying that to be offensive. I'm mixed race, look white, and look like so much multi-heritage. It's ridiculous. That's why all my friends, if you're watching to hear Charlie and everyone, yes, I've told them that you used to call me United Nations.
That was so funny. That proper made me laugh.
So yeah, if you, I mean, as you can see, we talk about serious topics, but we have fun and we have a laugh with it. So if you're interested in watching more episodes, really getting to kind of know us, details will be on the website. Website will launch on Monday. Go over and subscribe to YouTube because that's where everything is going to be. You can also comment on the videos on YouTube. We're going to try and get back to as many people as we can in the comments following this. There, we never sort of launch, we never promo anything, do we, ladies? We don't really promo our products or our services. We kind of might refer to them if it's relevant. But we, you know, there was a few things I was going to tell everyone about tonight, but I'm not going to because it's just not within the brand of the show. It doesn't sit right. But if anybody wants to know anything that we've got coming up, because as I said, I always like to do offers around my birthday. I will put them in the community and I'll put them over on my pages, on my social pages, and maybe even on my profile. And I think I've covered everything. Is there anything else you ladies want to say before we start to wrap up?
I think one last thing, that instead of getting hung up on our good girl complexes, let's start saying good girl yourself to ourselves all the time.
Oh, Leah, you just reminded me of what the other one was.
Oh, good.
Okay. It's what Cole Beardshaw gave me. Okay. So Andrea's Cole. And it was about me being able to be proud of myself. And that's where like really that helped build the confidence, build the boundaries, etc. So every little thing I do, whether it's washing up, folding the washing, making the dinner, whatever it might be, I tell myself, whether in my head or out loud, I'm proud of me for doing that and actually starting to embody it so that you create a new neural pathway in your brain.
Yeah.
It's very sciencey, but it definitely is a psychologist as well as a coach. But it works, and it works bloody quick. Okay, so that's the other one. You just reminded me. I'm having a proper ADHD night here.
I was gonna say, like, that's quite a good thing for people with ADHD as well, to like just pat themselves on the back for completing a task, because I mean the amount of tasks that I have started in my life. I started knitting a jumper in lockdown. I think I did the front panel and then that went somewhere, God knows. I think my mum's probably taken it. Started making a dress once, don't do that anymore. Started a bath bomb business in lockdown, started a resin business in lockdown. Like, I'm just really good at collecting hobbies.
And people wonder why me and Amy click so well, because I was a partner in obviously cosmetics and bath bomb business. My craft business was resin and everything before we went into lockdown, and then after we came out of lockdown, and then when he's printing. Us ADHD people, we might be a bit weird, we might be a bit quirky, but we're never boring.
True story. Got to embrace the weird.
Love that. Love weird. It'd be boring if we were all, if there was no weirdness. So I love it.
Well, if you think you're a bit weird and you want to join us, then you're welcome.
We'll have you.
Come and join.
You found your tribe.
Oh dear.
And on that note, I think it's time we started winding down the episode and letting everyone kind of get to bed. And I don't know about you, it's school runs in the morning. So yeah, my website will be up where you can find out all about panelists. They've all got profile pages. You wait till you see your profile pages. Ladies, you've all got your own profiles. And all the links you need. And yes, so that'll be up for Monday. We've got some specials that I'll put separately away from this. that are available over the weekend. I will plug this one though, I can't help it because it's relevant to what we're talking about today. And a lot of the things that we're speaking about is in there. My Becoming Bold and Brave boot camp. The doors for that are opening in the morning. And it's only £3.
Wow.
What?
Yes.
Again.
So even though we wouldn't issue flag, it's my birthday, so I'm breaking the rules. And if you look at my bios on Instagram, it actually says something along those lines, rebel with a cause or rebel rewriting the rules. I think it's rebel rewriting the rules. But yeah, so I'm being a rebel tonight and I'm going to plug it. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's watched. If you're watching on replay, hit hashtag replay. There's all those entries for the prizes as well. So the more you comment and the more you join the community and share and like and, you know, all the usual social stuff, the more chances you get of winning. So thank you for joining us, ladies. You know, I absolutely adore you. And I'm so thankful for you all. And I'm going to do it. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.
And I don't know how to stop the live stream. So I'm going to have to end the call, ladies. And I'll jump back on.
Okay. Bye. Happy birthday.
Bye bye. Mind yourselves. Bye.